Howdy, and welcome to the Maple Mafia. Y'all, I'm Tim Nichols of Mr. Maple, and we list some neat items on eBay each and every week. Now, this has been a cool thing because we've been able to let go of some stock plants, one more plant than we normally would sort of let go of. We've been able to do some first-time drops here on eBay and some second chances. So sometimes something listed on Mr. Maple, we sold out of it really quickly, and we're dropping another one on eBay. So there's a lot of cool things happening with these items. Y'all, this gives many people another chance at a cool plant that we wouldn't have normally listed. So hope you take advantage of these things. Today, we're talking about the items that are going off on March 16th of 2025. Many of these items will start going off at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the last item will go off today at 9:10 Eastern Standard Time, and everything in between. We've got a little bit of a break in between so you can prepare and figure out what you want to go after next. Now, the first tree going off today is Jules. This is a selection by Larry Stanley. It was a chance seedling from Cynthia's Crown Jewel. It has almost a Makawa-like habit, some pink spring color. It's extremely rare in the nursery trade. Guys, going off first this morning. Next up, we've got Makawa KN. Now, KN means golden. This is a selection by Chris Bean, who also brought us Mystic Makawa. Makawa KN is the golden Makawa. It's got some really nice bronze colors, tightly layering habit. It's one of those trees that's often sought after because it's in that Makawa family, really unique and different. Going off this evening, looks like it's going to be shortly after 6 p.m. Now, next up, we've got Millstone Dark Red. I think this is probably the third time we've dropped it, maybe here on eBay. Never dropped it on Mr. Maple yet. It's a dark red selection by the people who brought us Summer Sunset, Western Wetumpka Red, and they brought us a lot of really cool dark red selections that hold their color well in the deep south and are extremely heat tolerant. And so an amazing, really cool introduction. And again, this is one of the first times it's ever been dropped. So take advantage of this today. Next up, we got Dark Knight. Now, this is a dark red reticulated selection by Talon Buchholz. And this is an XL 1 gallon, so it's really got some nice height to it. You know, we don't have a large set of these coming on that I know about. And I found this item sitting around hidden in one of the corners of the nursery, so I thought I'd drop it here on eBay. Now, Dark Knight has that just really nice purple dark red reticulation. And Talon didn't know that he'd named this after Batman, essentially. And he said, if I knew it was that Batman BS, I would have changed the name. But I like it a lot more because of that. I'm a big DC Comics comic book fan. And so I had to have, you got to have a Dark Knight in your garden. It's one of those trees, though, that gives you some of that nice purple red color and good strong reticulation. Pair this with something like Golden Falls out there, and you're going to make a dynamic contrast with the color as well. Coming up next, we've got Makawa Sharps, another selection by Chris Bean that has a leaf more like a Sharps Pygmy, but a compact form like Makawa Yetsubusa. It is a slow grower too. I mean, it's really, really slow, possibly slower than most of the other selections. And it's one that's heavily sought after. Next up, we've got Acer Scoochai. Now, this is a liner, and we're getting low on these now. Acer Scoochai is the Mexican cloud forest maple. It's endangered. It's in 5 disjunct populations across Mexico and Guatemala. It is an Acer sacrum or Acer leucodermae relative down there. It grows naturally south of the equator, which is really unusual and different for a maple. It grows in these in the cloud forest, and many of the forests are getting destroyed due to deforestation. This actually came to the United States years ago before Acer Scoochai was protected, and so we're able to get seedlings off of the ones from the United States and offer them. But this is one of the rarest maples in the world. It makes a larger tree in the landscape, some good yellow fall color. So if you want to have an endangered tree, an endangered maple, one of the rarest maples in the world, Acer Scoochai, today, we've got some on a liner right there on eBay. Now, I mentioned Mystic Makawa earlier today. It's actually, we've got one of those going off today as well. It's a small, compact, orange form. And it is in that Makawa Yatsubusa family, and it's got one of the best orange colors of any of those Makawa types. It's just something about it. Again, this one is slower growing than Makawa Yatsubusa itself. And because of that, it's not really been in production, and it takes longer to get in production than even Makawa Yatsubusa. That's going off this seasoning too. Now, next up, we've got Skydopides Jetalo Compact. We've got a liner left going to that. That is a compact form of a Japanese umbrella pine. Now, the umbrella pines, they've got these really neat cylindrical like needles, and they're very different because each needle is very fat and almost juicy. I mean, it's got this weird look to it, which is really cool. The Skydopides, you want to make sure you give them plenty of good drainage. You often see them planted on hillsides. That's a great way to do it. But morning sun, afternoon shade, fantastic way to do it, especially if you're in a hotter climate. If you're out somewhere like the Northeast or Northwest that doesn't have as harsh of a sunlight, you can grow it to this tree in full sun. Now, Jetalo Compact is a denser compact form. We're talking, 4 to 5 feet tall, 4 to 5 foot wide, dense compact form, and it will be more conical in its habit. Guys, next up, we've got Acer Shirasan Magic Moon in an XL. One of our selections here at Mr. Maple, an Acer Shirasanum that's got a malting-like yellow-white variegation in it that is unlike any other variegation I've ever seen. Acer Shirasanums, there's not many that are variegated at all, or at least with a stable variegation. The variegation in Magic Moon causes a unique thing where the leaf actually twists and curls as well. And so it's very stable, very unique. New growth on Magic Moon won't be as variegated, and also won't have the twists and curls like the older, more mature growth does. Next up, we've got Acer Palmatum Koi. Now, this is an introduction by us here at Mr. Maple. This has a bronze-like color in the early spring. Sometimes we'll have some yellow color new growth during the summer. Matt and I used to do a lot of koi festivals, and everyone wants a Japanese maple to go near their koi pond. Why not Acer Palmatum Koi? It is a tightly layering dwarf Makawa type, fits in that garden so well, gives a unique habit, and it shares the name with the fish. Next up, we've got Acer Palmatum Autohime. Autohime's got a nice compact form. Not any sets coming to Mr. Maple anytime soon. Thought I'd drop it here on eBay. It's got those purple-red borders to it in the early spring. It's in that Kiyohime-like family. Really cool selection. Next up, we got Nemo. That's right. We got Nemo again. Nemo, a bright orange compact, one of the slower-growing Makawa types. It was a selection by one of our good friends in Asheville. He recently passed away. But Dr. Charles Murray gave this to us and asked us to introduce it. And it was a seedling Makawa that he'd been evaluating for years and years that has a compact form and good orange color. Next up, we've got Mino Yatsubusa. Now, Mino Yatsubusa is the most thread leaf-like trident maple. The leaf is elongated and it's thinner, so it's very unique. And it often also has almost like a weeping habit to it. The early spring, you get some really nice bronze colors to a dark green after that. And then the fall colors are yellows and oranges and reds infused all at the same time. An amazing trident maple, really unusual. And for me, one of the more exciting trident maples to put in your Japanese maple garden. Next up, y'all, we got Ladybug. Now, Ladybug is a Makawa type that gives some oranges and reds in the early spring. When we've been evaluating, dropped off a few times here at some of our Mr. Maple festivals. Now, we actually have a Mr. Maple festival happening here at Mr. Maple this spring, April 5th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're in the area or you want to come, it's always fun to come check out. We have a lot of people travel from all over. We've had multiple people come and drive from California, drive from Texas all the time, drive from California, and come to the Mr. Maple Festival just to shop all the cool Japanese maples we have. Now, Ladybug has those oranges to reds in that Makawa-like form. it is really cool and awesome. Guys, next up, we've got Acer Shirosonum Ayagasa. I think I dropped one last week on eBay. It's not been dropped many times. It's one that there's not a lot of them here in the United States. It's a full moon Japanese maple, good orange to red fall color, good upright habit, 8 to 10 foot in 10 years. Extremely rare in the United States. I mean, I've seen this offer before in Europe, but not many times here in the United States. Now's your chance to grab that. And it looks like our next 5, again, ending tonight, are all Makawa types. We got Japanese Princess to start, selection by Talon Buchholz, twisting leaf, some good pink color, tightly layering habit. Japanese Princess is awesome. Now, one of the things we've learned is that as Japanese Princess gets older and older, it takes a while, but it actually starts to develop a pine bark, which is really awesome. Talon actually got turned off by this and quit producing Japanese Princess as much. But to me, I think that's an awesome trait that gives Japanese Princess something unique. 20 years down the road, you can really start to get a unique pine bark on the selection that you don't get on the other Makawa types, which is pretty awesome. Next up, we've got El Tigre. Now, El Tigre is a selection that is really awesome. The name means the tiger, the male tiger, and it is a Makawa type that when it leaves out, the hands, the leaves sort of cup down like little hands. And it's got this really unique leafing out for any Makawa type. I haven't seen another one that does that. And then midsummer, you have a light green on dark green, unique variegation on each and every leaf. And it's one of those things that's somewhere between Ao Kanzashi, Tinahoshi, and Relish on that style variegation. Haven't seen any other Makawa types that are quite like that. El Tigre, very special. Only dropped a few times on Mr. Maple. Another chance to get it here on eBay. Kryptonite, that's one of our reductions here at Mr. Maple, is found as a sport on Makawa Yatsubusa. Think Makawa Yatsubusa that crossed with the Manio no Sato, because it's got that sickle-like variegation where the leaves will twist and curl with green on green variegation. That becomes more prominent midsummer to late summer, and that's when this tree really stands out with its unique style variegation. Has some nice oranges in the fall as well. Slow growing, morning sun, afternoon shade for best growth habit on Kryptonite. It's one of those next level Makawa types that is really special. Speaking of next level Makawa types, we got Red Panda next. It's an introduction of a red Makawa seedling that holds its color better than any of the other seedlings. Has a really nice, sort of just bold red color to it as well. Named after the little animal, the red panda that everybody loves. And it has that color in it. It has that red color of red panda in it. That's what makes this tree so unique and special, because it holds that better than mostly all the other Makawa types. Now, most of these types will flash that color for 2 to 3 weeks. Red Panda, we've seen it time and time again, and the new growth flushes during the summer give you that good red color again. So just an awesome red color on Red Panda. Next up and last, going off today at 9:10 Eastern Standard Time, we got Mayday. And everyone's going to be chasing Mayday this evening. It's got that sort of peach orange color in the early spring, going to that really nice blonde color right after. Tightly layering habit. It's one of the trees that on this list got out there first, but is also the least in production anywhere in the United States. Talon Buchholz sold off many of his stock plants. We bought them here at Mr. Maple. And that was before we bought Buchholz Nursery. And so many people who were getting Mayday before, it hasn't been in production. And so there were a few years when it didn't get produced like it had in the past. And we're trying to do our best to get Mayday back up in good numbers. But we're dropping one this evening at 9:10 Eastern Standard. That's when it's going off. Now, as all these trees are going off, more trees are going on. A way you can check out all of our items that we're currently selling on eBay. Let's go to mrmaple.com/eBay. And that'll take you to our sellers page where you can see all the cool items that are going off today and all the trees that as one goes off, the new one gets listed for next week. Thank y'all so much for jumping in today's Maple Mafia. Take care. God bless and have a great day.